Bienvenidos, mis amigos. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time. It is time to Tony. We have another fantastic episode for you today. This interview is with Mr. Troy Conrad, the illustrious Mr. Troy Conrad. He is the world's most famous comedy photographer. Now, he is far too humble to accept that title, but I will place that title upon him because his body of work is crazy. He's worked everybody from Theo Von, Joe Rogan, Gabriel Iglesias, Joe Coy, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., everybody who's anybody in the business, he's shot them. He has photographed them, and they trust Troy to take the best photos. Now, this episode was recorded back in February, so we weren't able to talk about the Kevin Hart roast, which he photographed. We weren't able to talk about Jelly Roll doing stand-up, and we had a crazy drop-in. Adam Ray popped in, as you'll hear in the preview to this episode, which was sick because I was filming this episode in an undisclosed location. I was doing a podcast in a place that I shouldn't have been doing it, which is a very Tony Wellens move, doing things I shouldn't be doing, but still doing them anyway. And yeah, so it was great to interview Troy. He is more than just a man behind the camera, as you're going to hear in this interview. He's done a lot in his career. He's the original house photographer at the Comedy Store and is now the house photographer at Joe Rogan's Comedy Mothership. If you're not familiar with the Comedy Store, we reference it a lot. We go, the store. We call it the store because that's what comics call it. They call it the store. And the Comedy Store is a legendary comedy club that's been around since the 70s. People like Richard Pryor, Jay Leno, Robin Williams, and David Letterman. I mean, just anybody who's anybody in show business has been through the Comedy Store. Louis C.K., all those guys, Louis C.K. filmed a fantastic special at the Comedy Store. And I think we talked about how he's worked with Louis. He did the Louis special. He filmed all Louis stuff, or shot all Louis stuff. Anyway, Troy's the man, and this episode was great. He's a real legend, so it was an honor to have him on this podcast. It was honestly, he was very easy to get a hold of, but that shouldn't mean you reach out to him. He's sick as fuck. I love Troy. He's the man. Thank you very much, Troy. Go share Time to Tony with your friends and family. Go listen on YouTube. Go subscribe. Go listen on Instagram. Go subscribe to me on Instagram. And go share this podcast with your mama because your mama going to love this podcast. Your mama going to love this podcast so much. So, ciao, está bueno. And this is the interview with Mr. Troy Conrad because your mama going to love this podcast. Bye.
Joe Rogan sees that and he goes, I want that as a print. And so that was the first print I ever sold. And it made me go, you know what? I'm on the right track, dude.
Yeah.
Because at that time, dude, I wasn't making any money. I was shooting at the store for free at that point. Like this is 2016.
I still wear a condom to bed.
Adam Ray, everybody.
Seahawks 38, Patriots 12.
Oh yeah, big.
And I am circumcised, bar mitzvahed, and but I still eat pork. I love my wife. I love Troy Conrad. Derek Poston was my first black friend in L.A. Joe Rogan gives good hugs. Yeah. Oh, you knew I was gonna say that. True. Okay, good to see you guys. Nope. Hey, come on. Hey, no. Hey. Biden 2049. Come on. Under my administration, we had the first black bloomer.
Say who, time to Tony. Time to Tony. Say who, bienvenidos, amigos, time to Tony. Say who, bienvenidos, amigos, time to Tony. Welcome, dude. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
Thanks for doing the pod.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so let's just get right into it, man. I always say this about you. I feel like you're the, and you're probably very humble. You probably wouldn't admit to this. I think you're the most famous comedy photographer of all time. Do you think that's true?
I never thought about that, but maybe. I mean, I work a lot, and I'm known for shooting comedy. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, maybe that's true. I love what I do. That's the thing, man. Like, passion is everything. You find that and you dive into it. And I've been doing it a long time. That's the thing.
Now, comedy photography, how long have you been doing it?
Dude, if you look at, like, when I was just doing amateur stuff, like in the back of the room with a crappy camera, I was probably doing it in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Like, not professionally. Mm-hmm. And then I got into filmmaking and all that stuff. And then when I got really, like, serious and started going pro, it was probably around 2008.
Okay.
And then by like 2011, 2012, now I'm like full steam,
Wow. And this was where? And this is in
And
L.A.?
All in L.A. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're from Arizona. When did you get to L.A.?
I moved in like 2003, 2004. I started going out to L.A.
Okay.
in like 2000, like trips, and then I moved there officially like 2003.
So I'll start at the beginning of your life. It was in Arizona. What part of Arizona?
Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona. And you were there for how long in Phoenix?
I was born and raised there.
Born and raised there.
Yeah.
Did you go to
I went to high school there. I went to Arizona State for college.
ASU? Was it a big party school at the time?
Dude, it's still like the biggest party school, but I wasn't ever a big party guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just there to get below average grades
Yeah.
and get my degree because I thought that's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And I didn't really use it, but I will say this: it was pretty crazy. I went into college, and I'm bored. I have this thing. I have ADD, but I also have this wonderful gift called boredom,
Yeah.
and it's a huge gift.
Wow, I've never
Because
looked at it that way.
Boredom, if you know what to do with it, it can drive you. Like boredom, you can just go, I quit. Or you can go, I want to create my world around it. And
That's
then
actually very profound.
Not be bored. Well, yeah. I mean, with anything, you get bored with something, that just means you're not seeing it with the right perspective. That's what I think. So I've always had this boredom gift, and it allows me to get outside of that boredom. And in order to do that, I got to do something creative. So that's always been the driver.
You always been a creative lad.
Yeah, Doug Stanhope has that great joke about boredom is a disease worse than cancer, and drugs cure it. That's his bit. But and he's right.
Is that off of No Refunds?
I don't remember which album. I think it is No Refunds. Yeah.
Okay.
Or,
that was my scripture for a while.
He's
To
the
love
best,
that album.
man. He's the best. And I think, like, while that's true, it's not super sustainable. So I always think, boredom is a disease and a gift, and
Right.
creativity cures it.
Okay, so you were always like an ADD riddled kid that went to ASU, and then where did you go after ASU?
It took me 6 years to graduate. Well,
6 years to graduate?
Yeah, I went to a community college first.
Hell yeah. Shouts out.
And then I had that boredom thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I went into this the administrator's office, and I was like, hey, I'm bored. Can I teach here? And they're like, you've only been here a year. You want to teach college? I was like, yeah, can I teach? And they were like, no, you have to have like a master's. I go, okay, how do we get around that? And they were like, well, we have like an adult section for like non-credit, so you don't get college credit, but adults at night come and take these classes. I go, that's what I want to do. And they're like, are you an expert at anything? I was like, yeah, I'm an expert in creativity, so that's what I'm going to teach. They go, what are you going to teach? I go, the only thing I knew is dating.
Okay.
Like, I was going out on dates with girls. I was like, I'm good at dates.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, creative dating. And it was a full class.
Really?
Yeah. So
Creative
I
dating?
taught college when I started college.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's wild,
Yeah.
bro.
Now, no one gets credit. Like, you won't get a degree.
Right.
But I'm teaching at the college and getting paid. And then I eventually, after I got my bachelor's, I got hired to teach as a professor at the community college.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How long did you teach at this community college?
For like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know, it's crazy.
So wait, what were you a professor as?
I taught in the health department humor and play. Creative. It was like creative ways to design your life, and play is such a big part of it. Like, play rewires our brain.
Okay.
And it sounds stupid, right?
No.
But it was all about finding ways to get out of your head. Like, I think about Brian Holtzman, my favorite person to watch.
He's so funny, yeah.
Brian Holtzman has this great line where he says, when people aren't laughing
Yeah.
at his amazing stand-up, he's like, you're in the cafeteria, it's the 9th grade, everything's funny. And it's like this mind shift, right?
Oh, wow.
Where like you sort of are now given a lens, a camera lens to see through his eye. And you go, oh, well, if it's the 9th grade and everything's funny. Yeah, that's true. Okay,
That
now
is
it's
a
funny.
great point.
And so that's kind of the essence of what I was teaching back then is how to get out of your own way and apply creative things to your life so that you can actually develop and grow something. And that's kind of always been what I've done through my whole life.
Wow. Well, it's very fitting because the path that you've went down is like a very creative path.
Yeah, I'm lucky. It's like a laboratory,
That is kind of nuts.
So I shoot comedy photography, and I shoot at the Comedy Mothership here in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go on the road with a bunch of guys and all that, and it's all about making things a creative lab.
No, I know. And before these, I give an intro, so there's like a 3-minute intro of of all your accolades and stuff. And but so ASU, professor, you go from there, and then you get to LA. When? How old are you when you get to LA?
I was in my late 20s, I guess. And then I just jumped right into acting. I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
I wanted to be a stand-up. My big thing, I was like, I want to be on like Premium Blend on Comedy Central. Like if I did that, that would be like winning an Academy Award. Like that.
Premium Blend?
Just being on, for having a 60-second Comedy Central spot to me. Because I saw these comics and like they get introduced and they were like, he's been on Premium Blend. It's like, that's all I watch.
I don't even know what Premium Blend is.
Dude, Premium Blend was like, early 2000s.
Okay.
That was the biggest stand-up show on Comedy Central.
Okay,
it was
it?
Just little, like in between shows, there would just be a little clip of like, here's 2 minutes of this comic.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so
hear about so-and-so, you get a Premium Blend. Oh, fuck. It was like a tiny clip.
It's just like Instagram
but
clips now.
But everyone's watching it because it's Comedy Central in its prime.
Well, so they would just sprinkle it into what, or they would
in between stuff. It'd be like a half-hour show, but it'd be a bunch of clips of different comics.
Oh, okay. It's a blend of a bunch of different comics.
Yeah, just call it Premium Blend. So it might be like 10 different comics on a half-hour episode.
Oh, okay,
It was a big deal, dude.
That's sick. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the end-all, be-all.
Yeah.
And I never got to that level. I ended up touring as a feature act forever.
Mm-hmm.
And
who did you tour with?
I did the club circuit.
Yeah.
So I opened for like George Lopez on some of the bigger, shows.
No fucking way.
Yeah, I opened for George Lopez and Carlos Mencia.
Okay. Whoa. What? What was
wild?
That
dude.
is wild.
I watched them fighting backstage.
Did you see that fight?
No. They weren't fist fighting. There was almost a fist fight.
Okay.
They were arguing about who's gonna be the headliner, but it was George Lopez's like
show
tour sort of.
Okay.
But it was like it was like a Latino comedy tour or whatever. But it's like George Lopez organized it. George Lopez is now like at that time he's like the man. But Carlos Mencia is the up and coming man.
Okay. And
this is 2000 and this is 2000.
That's the George Lopez show is like at its peak.
Yeah, dude, HBO.
Yeah.
Like, big deal. So I opened for them at the Celebrity Theater, which is where George Carlin did his special. He did a special there.
Oh,
it's
the
rotating
round
stage.
Yeah. That's
sold out.
Isn't that in Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sold out show.
You did that theater?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. It was amazing, right? So I did that. And then I just worked the clubs, man. Like I just went from club to club around the country, and then I developed my own show called. Back up. I went to writing and improv schools.
Yeah.
Every single place I could go to in LA.
Yeah.
Second City, Improv Olympic, Upright Citizens Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
Did the whole program, right? The entire writing program of all of them.
Yeah.
The entire improv program of all of them. I did some groundlings. And then I developed my own show, which was called the Comedy Jesus Show.
The Comedy Jesus Show, that's right, yeah.
It was huge. This is, ancient days, but it was huge on YouTube. And when YouTube started, it was big,
Yeah.
And that was like, I took that around the world. I did festivals everywhere.
Yeah, I saw you did Edinburgh Fringe, right?
Yeah, I did Edinburgh. I did it in Ireland. I did it in Montreal. I did it all over the place.
And what was the premise of the show?
Jesus comes back. He's pissed off, and he's like he's upset. He's like, "What the fuck did you guys do with this planet? Like you're all retarded."
Well,
So and basically he tells the world.
Okay.
It's a PowerPoint on the mount.
Okay.
Tells the world, you guys are on a game show, a reality show. You don't even know it. Like your planet is on a game show, and he puts it on the screen. There's all these other planets that got eliminated. And he's like, yeah, we gave you some challenges. At that time, it was the 3 challenges were religion, nuclear weapons, and Celine Dion. And you're not supposed to get involved with any of them. Like that was the kind of the idea. And then it's, from there, it goes into, Q&A and all that. It was
Wow.
really
So
fun
it
show.
was like it was almost like a play in a way?
No, it was a one-man show, variety show.
Okay.
But instead of me, it was Jesus, and then there was 2 other characters. There was
Who was Jesus? Who played Jesus?
I play all of them.
You play all
It's
the
a
characters.
solo show. I play all of them.
Oh,
I do
you're
quick
the one
changes.
man. Okay, really?
Yeah, like I go back. I'm doing a quick change. The beard
Really?
comes off. Whatever. I come back as a preacher, and then I come back as like another weird preacher.
Is this still on YouTube?
Totally.
Okay.
There's I think you watched the whole thing on YouTube, from what I remember.
All right, sick.
Yeah, it was back in the day, it was a big YouTube. I totally abandoned that channel, but yeah, it is still there. And it was a blast, man.
Yeah.
It was a total blast.
What's up, buddy? That's sick as hell. So,
Fun.
are we doing well?
It was all fun, creative stuff.
Josh Cabaza, the man.
Yo.
So, Comedy Jesus show, and then when you did you get to the Comedy Store?
Comedy Store, it was 2014, 2015 is when I started going to Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, my buddy Paul Provenza, he goes, hey, you gotta come see this show called Roast Battle. And I was like, because I'd been to the store before, but there was like the dark days of the Comedy Store where the main room was closed because no one went there. Nobody went to the Comedy Store. There was a period.
Yeah, I had Jason Rouse on here, and he was
Yeah.
saying like he got to like LA when it was in its dark ages or whatever.
Yeah, dude, it was dark. And so the main room was chained shut because it was just like, oh, people were just going in there doing coke. There was no shows. And then Doug Stanhope comes in.
The main room was chained?
The main room was chained shut. And then Doug Stanhope comes in.
Okay.
And he's like, you know what? I want to do a show in that shitty room at the Comedy Store where everyone did coke and was having sex in the green room and all that. And so he started doing shows there. And all of a sudden people are like, wait, this isn't a shitty, this is great. And it sort of revitalized the Comedy Store. Then other people were like, oh, I'm going to do a show there. I'm going to do. And that was like one of those like keys. And then Rogan comes in, starts doing those. So, yeah, so it got out of those dark ages. And then Roast Battle, like totally revitalized the Comedy Store.
Okay, I want to hop back on that Doug Stanhope thing. What was the show he did in the main room? You said the main room had chains on it?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It was just
in the main room.
It was completely locked.
Yeah, they didn't have enough people to fill the main room, so they just did the belly room and the original room, just those 2, the smaller rooms. Yeah.
And who were like some of the figures that were like floating around at the time?
I mean, at this time, everybody's there. I mean, Rogan is there. I think at that time, Mencia was just already gone by that time, but it was all the fucking big guys.
Yeah, everybody.
The legends. You had Dom Herrera and everybody, all the young guys up to Dom Herrera, and it was a great scene.
Yeah, and so what time period was this at the Comedy Store?
2014, Well, the dark period was like before this, like 2010.
Okay.
When it was that's when it was like Mencia times and the
who's like the man at 2010 at the Comedy Store.
Well, it was. I'm trying to think. I don't have my years exactly right. I don't know when the Mencia thing happened with Rogan, but dude, I think it was Mencia was kind of like the guy, but he was stealing people's material and he wasn't a great guy. He was one of those guys who, creatively, he would take someone's bit and then make it his own and make it funny. And people were like, I like that. I like seeing that.
Yeah.
And the comic that wrote the bit is like, oh, fuck. Now I'm going to look like a hack for doing that bit because this guy who's on Mind of Mencia is just popularized that bit. It's like, it's a creative, it's a creatively evil way of stealing.
That is crazy. Now that like I'm really in the thickets of stand-up.
That's how like cunning people steal is you use your platform and your popularity to copy someone's work, make it look like it's your own a little bit.
Yeah.
And then if enough people see it, they go, "Oh, well that's Mencia's bit." You know, where it's like, well, no, Ari Shaffir's been doing that bit, or so Joe's been doing it. This person's been doing that bit.
Yeah.
But they're not getting the views. He's doing it. He's going to go do it on a special. He's got a platform, and it's a really great way to be a hack.
Yeah.
Instead of being an innovator.
Yeah.
I will say this, since I was, I spent time on the road with him and stuff, did gig. Mencia is very funny off the cuff. Like he's a good,
he's a great riffer.
Great riffer, dude.
Mencia's,
I'm just being honest. Like
yeah.
he was a great riffer, but he didn't have necessarily an ability to sit down and write. He was just this guy who's just really funny.
Yeah.
Like people who don't do stand up and they're really funny.
Yeah.
He was like that.
He just wasn't he didn't have the creative writing ability.
He didn't have the innovation.
Do you think there's anything that
could take something? No, I'm not saying he didn't write. He wrote tons of his own bits.
Yeah, yeah.
But he felt like he just was entitled to just take, and that's not what creativity and art is. Not about taking; it's about making.
Yeah.
So he was a
I
taker.
like how that rhymes.
He's a taker and not a maker. And I try to think about that and apply that in my life. And I also probably judge people harshly that are just out there to take something from someone else,
Yeah, that is really crazy. Like now that I'm a stand-up, I'm like, maybe I didn't fully grasp it when I first started stand-up, but like that is nuts. Like, just that would be like if essentially if like Joe Rogan was like bouncing around at, maybe he wasn't as big as Joe Rogan at the time, but if like a huge comic at the Mothership is just coming to the Black Rabbit and being like, oh, I'm gonna take that bit, and then you're like, oh fuck, that
right.
was
And by the way, Joe Rogan was probably just as big at that time, but Mencia was on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And Joe had already been on Comedy Central with the Man Show.
Yeah.
So but Mind of Mencia, that was a huge show.
Yeah, it was really big.
That was like the Chappelle show of its time. And
yeah.
People, it was like, oh my God, he's here. It was a big deal.
He was like the man, yeah.
Yeah, him and Joe. I mean, I can't even remember who all the people running that place. But Ari Shaffir was there, and he was like, probably at that time he was still working the door and doing stand up. But Ari was doing great.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good people, and Tony had started Kill Tony around 2011 or I think 2011,
mm-hmm.
and I don't remember the year exactly. Maybe a little later, but. Man, it was a really cool time.
That is so sick, bro. And it's like so when you got to the store, you were doing stand-up or what? Or you were...
No. When I got to the store, I was already done with stand-up because I was a producer with that My Show Set List.
Okay.
And that's an improvised stand-up show
yes,
that
I wanted
became
to
a TV show.
That was the show you did with Paul Provenza.
Yeah. And nobody in America really knows that show very much.
Okay.
I mean, they know the live show.
Yeah.
It was like super famous as a live show, but you can't watch it unless you have a VPN. You can't watch any of the like episodes because it's only the UK and Ireland.
Why?
Because that's who bought the rights. It's all, rights of who gets what.
So it's basically a riff show?
It's an improvised stand-up show where instead of you know how you go on stage, you got your set list?
Yes.
I write the set list, and when you walk on stage, you have no idea what that list is until you look behind you and it's on a projector screen. And now you act like that's your act.
Wow.
You act like you've been doing this on cruise ships for 10 years.
Wow.
That's the whole premise. So that was a really fun, super creative, innovative. We had a blast. We took it around the world.
Did you take it to JF Just for Laughs?
Oh yeah, we met like five or 6 years at JFL.
I feel like
every festival in the world.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, Gilbert Gottfried, just as far as like legends go, Fred Willard, like all these guys who have passed on who were just incredible.
Yeah.
They loved the show. Rick Overton is this improv genius who helped start the show, and then I partnered with Paul Provenza, and we we
Did
made
you
it happen.
ever? Did you do the green room with Paul Provenza ever?
I helped as a producer on that show. Like we did
Wow.
behind the scenes stuff.
Damn, dude, that's so sick.
Yeah.
You've done so much in your career, and
It's wild.
it is kind of crazy. Do you like? Well, I'm curious how you got into being, because my first introduction to you was as the photographer guy, and I read that you started in 2015 and you were the hallway photo.
2015 is when the hallway photos started,
Okay.
and that was like this,
Dog, let me say
thing.
those are like the I would, like, as a very young comic, look at those be like, yo, this is crazy. Like you got Bobby Lee next to Andrew Santino, next to Joey Diaz, next to
yeah, that was fun, dude.
bro. Those photos are very sick, and they are some of the coolest and best photos.
So so now there's all these people that do comedy photography, and it's really cool to see. And when I was doing it, it was kind of like, it was a fringe thing. No one was getting paid to do it, really. It was just
Really, because to me, it's crazy now, because, I'll see photographers at shows, and I go, it's crazy that person is making more money than I'm making on the show. The photographer.
yeah, because they're the ones driving the social media to get people to that show. So, yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, depending on your level, the photographer's making more.
Obviously, it's not like that when you're at the, if you're headlining at the mothership, you're making more than the photographer.
Totally.
But
so but it's a thing. Now you could go to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and in a small little like one night a month room.
Yeah.
And there's a photographer there. Like,
Yeah, there is.
Wild, dude.
That is true, yeah. Well, it really, it's for social media. It really just drives a page.
Like, there was no one at the store. I got hazed at the store for coming in with a camera. They hated me.
Really?
Dude, they hated me. People were like flipping me off, and like online, like they were going online and saying, who's this fucking guy?
Wait, so were you the first ever photographer at the store?
Well, back probably in the 70s, they had people that came in with like film and snapped some stuff here and there, but it was very irregular. Like, it's probably like,
so wait, you were the first like house photographer?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the first house, yeah.
Okay, wow, that's
first person to actually be like hired by the store.
Wow, okay.
But I started as, just producers would hire me to shoot shows.
Is there like any name?
And same with the improv. Like my buddy Mike Carano
Yeah.
was a early photographer at the improv. You go into an improv and you see all those pictures on the wall. That's Mike Carano. He's a fucking genius.
Okay.
But his job was he was printing, he was shooting once in a while, but he wasn't like traveling on the road necessarily with a bunch of guys. Like, he's a super creative person. He's one of the OGs. Dan Dion in San Francisco was house photographer at Cobb's and a whole bunch of places. Brilliant dude. Wrote a book called Satiristas with a bunch of great comics in it. So with Paul Provenza.
Yeah.
And anyway, so now it's a thing. And it's cool.
That's crazy to me that I didn't realize that you were the first house photographer at the store. That's sick as hell. Yeah. Sorry, I should have researched. I guess I vaguely knew that, but I didn't. So
it was a fun time, man.
You said people were pissed at you when you walked in with the camera?
when I started there, when Provenza said come see Roast Battle, I went and watched it and I went, holy shit, this show's amazing. It's different than it's very different than what Roast Battle is today.
So what's the differences now?
Dude, it's actually like not even the same show if you compare. So right now it's a very streamlined version of what the original Roast Battle was.
Okay.
The original Roast Battle was the roasts like you see them, except, and this is the big difference.
Yeah.
There's Earl Skakel in the corner just a solo guy at the racist haters table. So he's off to the side and he plays this racist hater.
Okay.
So everything he says is through the lens of this like roast. He's a roast genius and he's roasting people, but it's all racist, hilarious stuff. It's really funny, offensive. And then you have the all Negro wave. One of them was Jamar Neighbors.
Okay, right.
Okay. So it was Jamar, Jeremiah Watkins.
Which is, if anyone knows Jeremiah Watkins, he's not a black man.
Yeah, but he was part of the all Negro wave. And man, they would come out and do these mini skits, mini act outs that lasted from 2 seconds to 5 seconds, and then run back and sit down. So if you got a good roast in, and like I'll give you an example, like, and it was elaborate. These guys planned this stuff like the whole week, and this is what made it so great. Like, let's say you had a really good line, and it's not connected. The skit they do is not connected. It's just some weird, funny thing that they do.
Right.
So they would come out. Jeremiah would pull up his shirt, and Jamar would have a chainsaw and cut open his belly, and all this spaghetti would come out and onto the stage. And there's just like a bunch, like 4 pounds of spaghetti as his guts coming out. And they run back and they sit down. So that all happened faster than a joke in a Simpsons episode.
Wow.
And that was the show, and that was what people wanted to see. And then Comedy Central bought the show. It was so successful. And Comedy Central's like, yeah, we're going to streamline this, and we're going to water it down a little bit, and we're going to marginalize the wave, and we're going to call them the wave because you can't call them the all-Negro wave. And, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, they're kind of, the best part of the show is now the back burner.
Wow.
And they're cutting them out and, all this stuff. So at that point, the show had definitely a better pacing for TV and all that stuff, but it lost that like wild, like fringe element that was so raw that you can't, that today they would be canceled. Like I think back to those live shows. Yeah. Every 4 minutes was a cancelable moment because it was before everybody was putting stuff on their phones out there and all that,
That's
so
hilarious.
The people were saying wild shit.
Wild stuff?
Dude.
That's awesome. And who started the you said they bought the show. Is it Brian Moses?
They bought it, from Brian Moses.
Brian Moses is the OG creator of it.
Yeah, well, no, there was another guy, and I forgot his name, but he was also involved in the show in the early days. I can't think of it, but Brian became the main producer of the show and ran the show, and that's who hosted it on Comedy Central, and
And the roast battle started at the I call it almost the mother at the store, correct? It's all over the world now. I just did a roast battle in London.
It's crazy, dude. It's all over the world.
Roast battle league is everywhere, bro.
Yeah. It's really cool what they've done with it, and I don't think, certainly they could never have scaled it with the wave. Like, it would never work. It was just such a moment in time.
Bro, the levity on that must have been crazy.
Yeah, so they did the right thing, in terms of this is how you scale it. You want it to reach as many people. That's the whole goal. Yeah. But, and there's a book. I have all my photos from Roast Battle, a bunch of photos in the book that Julie Seabaugh wrote about the specialness of roast battles. You can get that book on Amazon, but it's a really cool one, and it really talks about that wild element.
Bro, that's insane. So I know we kind of got off on that roast battle track. So 2015, which is awesome. I love that so much. I love hearing about that. So you start like shooting at the store.
2015 is when I started putting photos out, I think.
Yeah, and like who were like, that's definitely like. Is Mitzi still around at the time?
No. Well, no, she was not coming into the store. She was still alive. Okay. She was like in.
Did you ever see Mitzi Shore?
No.
No, you never saw her? No. When did she stop going to the store?
I want to say she stopped coming to the store around 2012, 2013. I don't remember the exact year, but she wasn't well enough to like come in. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And man, like that's just so sick. Those were like those lineups. I like, you look back at 2015, 2016. Dog, it's like seeing Joey Diaz and
Joey was, Joey was the man.
Joey was the man, eh?
Dude, oh my God, yeah. Yeah, at this time, 2015, dude, Joey Diaz is the killer.
Who would like rock the room the hardest?
Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz?
Oh, without a doubt.
Really?
Yeah, Joey Diaz was the absolute crusher. Yeah. It's like nobody. Joe talks about this a lot, like how it sucks to follow him, but Joe wanted that pressure. Yeah. That's what creates like a diamond. So Joe would go on after Joey just to get that pressure. Yeah. Because it's impossible to follow him. It's like that. There was this famous story of Jerry Lee Lewis, the singer Jerry Lee Lewis, And he didn't like Chuck Berry because Chuck Berry was like up and coming,
Right.
and he wanted to headline, but they said no, Chuck Berry's headlining.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, all right. So he goes out there and gives this incredible performance, and he's playing the piano, and he sets the piano. He had doused it with like lighter fluid before, and then he's on his closing song. He sets the piano on fire, says good night, and walks off. Now Chuck Berry has to walk on stage and just like there's a piano on fire. And he's got it, like, he's like, that was his fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, Joey Diaz every night is setting the piano on fire. Like, you can't, everyone's like, please don't make me follow him.
That's incredible.
Like, there's no way to match that insane energy. Like, he was just always on fire.
Was Doug Stanhope still there?
No.
Okay.
Doug was gone by then. He moved to Bisbee.
Okay.
I think he moved around 2012. I don't remember, maybe earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe 2010. I don't know. But he's been there a long time.
And would you shoot in all 3 rooms and just bounce around?
I would just bounce around to what I wanted to shoot.
Yeah.
Just catch those moments. The most important thing was always behind the scenes. I would certainly get on stage stuff, and I would, at that time I was really like, I was focusing on the bigger comics for most of the stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, well, look at these. These guys are great. There's Dylan Sullivan.
Oh,
and
shouts
he's
out.
like this unknown, door guy, but like, damn, this dude's funny. And then Brian Simpson.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Door guy at
he's
the mothership?
crushing
Or
it.
at the store?
Yeah.
Brian Simpson was the door guy at the store?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at that time, he's a door guy. And, those guys going up there crushing it. So, my whole thing was about how can I make these guys, and Asan was also there, door guy at the store. How can I make
Derek
these guys?
Poston?
Yeah, Derek. How can I make these guys look like the badasses that they are? And that was that's what I took on as my job. You have to have an objective. You can't just go in like, I'm going to take pictures. Like, you should have an objective.
Dog, that's crazy. You also kind of pioneered the behind the scenes. I mean, bro, you're a pioneer in the.
Yeah, that was always my goal, dude. And now people
crazy.
do that, and I'm glad people realize that's where the real story is. The behind the scenes is what it's all about. I mean, sure, we see the people on stage.
Yeah.
All right, done. We get it. But the real connection to people, that's behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's the BTS.
There's the moment of like somebody waiting to go on stage, and they're looking at their phone, or they're rubbing their hand on their leg, or they just have this look on their face like, oh, this crowd sounds like shit, or whatever, like that. Those moments.
You're right. That's a brilliant eye of you. Yeah, I wouldn't have never. I mean, I guess you walk around the camera for long enough, you're like, you put yourself in a different perspective. But yeah, I wouldn't think to capture those moments,
Dude, and that's where the moments are, and that's what let me sort of play in the place I wanted to turn. I want anywhere where I go into and shoot, I think of it as that's my laboratory, and I'm Dr. Frankenstein. I'm going to make something fucking cool.
Fuck yeah, bro. What are like some like huge nights at the store that just like stick out, like legendary hangs or whatever?
Well, yeah, there's some legendary hangs. One night I get a call from Bob Saget, and he goes, hey, he's like, I know you're shooting a lot at the store, and I need good pictures of me. He goes, somebody took a picture of me, and it was maybe with a phone or something, and it's just, he goes, I look stupid in it. He goes, I look too old in it. He's like, can you just please come tonight? I'm doing a spot in the original room. And I was like, yeah, man, I'll be there. So I shot him.
Yeah.
He liked the pictures. And I was like, come outside. We're going to do some pictures out on the street. Those were my signature, those night shots I do out on the street.
And you do this at the mothership now, too?
I do this at the mothership, yeah. And that's what kind of one of those things that got me known. Those Hall series photos and those night shots, those were like my trademark photos. I want to make people look fucking awesome, and those do.
Okay.
So I had the best time with him. And then I reminded him of a story. Like, he didn't remember me. Yeah. But I was like, Bob, I met you, let's see, at this time. I was like, I met you like almost 15 years ago, right? And he goes, no. He goes, tell me. I go, dude, So I used to be the publicist, the PR guy at the Tempe Improv.
Oh,
Okay.
Did
This
you
is
work
right-
with Adam Egan?
Adam was there just after I left,
Okay.
but I was the PR guy. Adam later came in and got promoted manager. So Bob Saget, I drove him around to all his radio and TV and all that stuff. And at that time, he was, he's the director of the movie Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang.
You're right. He was.
So he directed that movie, my favorite fucking movie. It's the funniest movie. It's a perfect movie.
It
is
so
a
funny.
perfect comedy.
Yeah.
And remember, this is a time where Blockbuster is the only way you could watch shit.
Are you serious?
There's not even, I don't even think there was Netflix DVDs at this time. This is Blockbuster times, dude.
Oh, okay. Because you're saying 15 years ago when you were talking to Bob
This is
Saget.
2000 and early 2000s.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, 2002. I don't know. And I said, so what happened was I had kept the video way too long, and Blockbuster sent me a thing that said, hey, you owe us $85 for the video, and late fees and all this stuff. And I said, hey, I was like, Bob, this is the collection notice that they gave me. Will you sign this and tell them to waive all of the fees? And he goes, yeah, okay. So he signed. He said, and he wrote on the bill that the collection notice they sent me.
Yeah.
And he wrote, please excuse Troy from all fees. Signed, director Bob Saget. I brought it into Blockbusters. These two teenagers working, and I said, I'm here to take care of my bill. I said, Bob Saget says I don't have to pay. He's the director. And they just looked at me. They looked at each other, and they're like, how do we know this is real? I go, he's at the Tempe Improv all week. Look in the paper. They open up the paper called the Phoenix New Times. They open it. It says right there, first page, it says, performing at June 7 to 9, Tempe Improv. And then they read that, and they looked up, and they went, okay.
Bro, Bob's the GOAT, bro. Bob's the GOAT. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great, dude. It was pretty great. So that was a fun moment. We had Norm Macdonald come in with, it was David Spade and Friends. And it was like the rare night where Norm came in.
He wouldn't come to the store often?
No, not at this time. He never really came in. So Norm's there, and David Spade had this girlfriend.
Right.
And she goes, hey, this guy takes such cool pictures. You guys got to do it. So I came in, me and David Spade and Norm, and Bill Burr, and I think it was I can't remember who. It might have been Rob Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
No, Dana Carvey.
Okay.
I have all four of them as in this photo in a hallway series thing. And I was I will never forget. I was so nervous because I'm using a very archaic camera that is all manual settings, manual focus, everything has to be just right. I'm using a continuous light. I'm holding it up, and I was like, all right, you got, and you can see Norm, like I have all these frames of the photo, and you can see Norm going, how is this guy doing this? Like so his lips are moving in some of it, and I found one where his mouth looks good, and I went, that's the fucking one.
Damn, bro.
And they all have that. Bill Burr made a print for all four of them, and they put it up in their house. So my buddy sent me a picture of Dana Carvey like opening up the massive 20 by 30 print of it.
Bro, that's so sick, dude.
Yeah, it was really
cool. What else like sticks in your mind at the store? Like, before we get to the mothership, I'm trying to get the most out of the store, because I mean that was like that's where you cut your teeth. That's that's your birthplace of Troy Conrad, the photographer. Which also, did you ever do stand up at the store often?
No.
Never
I think I only went up there. Well, before I did photography,
you never get like you would never get the itch of being like, oh, dude, I want to go rip that stage.
I never had time. I was focused on what I was doing. Right?
Okay, yeah.
And once I get tunnel vision, like creatively. So I was so focused on, at that time, production of set list stuff and photography.
Yeah.
That was back burner now. So but before that, I had gone up at the store. But no, I was there to be a photographer and to capture those behind the scenes moments, like that. It was such an important time. It was a golden era of the store. You got Joe Rogan, you got Joey Diaz, all these killers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was this, and it was this unfiltered. Stanhope was coming in a lot. He was coming in from Arizona, and once in a while they do a show. The most epic night, of course, was exactly 10 years ago when they did it was the 2016 election. It was called the End of the World podcast. And it was the night where it was Hillary was supposed to win in a landslide.
Yeah.
So they started the podcast, and the projection was like Hillary wins by like an 80% margin. And it ended up at like an hour and a half into the podcast. It was like the numbers are coming in. It's like, oh no, Trump's winning. and so you're watching this in real time, and it's, it's Stanhope, it's Joe Rogan, it's Bill Burr, it's Earl Skakel, it's Tony, it's everybody in this big table in the main room.
And they're all kind of just like their jaws are dropping like.
Yeah, it was wild. Burt Kreischer. And it was also the night where weed became legal in California. And so there's this moment where Burt Kreischer like takes off his shirt and runs across the stage.
Yeah.
And I captured that from behind the curtain.
Wow.
And it's like Burt's kind of blurry. I didn't really like the picture, to be honest. Because my settings were to capture the low light, and Burt's running, and he's kind of like blurry. And I get real stupid about perfection. It's like, maybe it's no good. He's blurry. Joe Rogan sees that, and he goes, I want that as a print. And so that was the first print I ever sold. It was so fucking cool. And it made me go, you know what? I'm on the right track, dude.
Yeah.
Because at that time, dude, I wasn't making any money. I was shooting at the store for free at that point. Like this is 2016. I'm literally making zero money. I am paying to park there in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I'm already out every night I go shoot. I'm out $10, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for me. Like,
I hate paying to park so much. Also,
dude, that was $10. It was like that was money that was breaking me. That's how little money I had. But I did it because I believed in what I was doing, and I knew that I had to keep doing this. And then when Joe bought that print, I went, okay, dude, I'm on the right track. And he said, and then that night he goes,
well, can you slow down for me and say, so Joe Rogan bought your first ever print? I remember you telling me that prior. What is that? When you say first ever print, what the hell is that?
Oh, I printed. He said he saw the picture of Burt Kreischer.
Okay.
And he goes, can you make me a print of that?
Oh,
so
okay.
I printed out a 20 by 30 giant print of that.
Right.
And brought it to him.
So it's Burt running across the stage.
Yeah, it's Burt running across the stage right at the moment when like weed got legal in California. 20. What's up?
What's up, guys?
Oh shit!
You guys, sorry. Hi, Mom. Still wear a condom to bed.
Adam Ray, everybody.
Seahawks 38, Patriots 12.
Oh yeah, big.
And I am circumcised, bar mitzvahed, but I still eat pork. I love my wife. I love Troy Conrad. Derek Poston was my first black friend in LA. Joe Rogan gives good hugs. Yeah. Oh, you knew I was gonna say that. Okay, good to see you guys. Nope. Hey, come on. Hey, no. Hey. Biden 2049. Come on. Under my administration, we had the first black Little Mermaid.
Thanks, brother.
Oh my god. Oh, that was awesome, dude.
I almost forgot that he
clip that up.
Yeah, we definitely did. It's perfect that you told me to drop the camera on that because I think he was just in the.
Oh, good. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of, it's funny that you got Comedy Store right there.
And then that was one of the shows. So Adam Ray is one of the shows that I shot.
Yeah.
Like he had a show called Adam Ray and Buddies.
Yeah.
And this is in the same year, 2016, and he would have me come shoot. And so he was one of the guys. So him and Sam Tripoli were and a woman named Sarah Mello. They were the three main producers that had me shoot. And then I started shooting Kill Tony at that same time. And, it was like just a magical time. But Joe came up to me and he said, hey, man, he goes, what you're capturing is the golden era of the Comedy Store. But we don't know it right now. We will know it later in like 10, 20 years. We'll look back at this time and we'll see it as this golden era of the Comedy Store. And I was like, oh, that's a cool thought, man. Because you'd never know the you never know when you're in an amazing time. Like I don't know if you saw the movie Midnight in Paris, but it's about that.
Oh,
Woody
I love
Allen
Midnight in
directed
Yeah.
that movie, and it's about like, you know, if you're living in the Roaring 20s, you don't know that it's the Roaring 20s
Yeah.
until 20 years later or whatever. Well, this was that magical time at the store that can never be repeated, you know. It was a very unfiltered time. It was like pre-cancellation-ish time, and when phones weren't completely overtaking our lives.
Yeah.
And comedy was at an all-time high, and we had, you know, these killers. You had Joey Diaz there, and that really was, he was the man. Joe Rogan, all these guys coming to the store. Kill Tony was crushing it. Roast Battle. This was this amazing time at the store, and that's no longer the same. Now it's still, the store is doing great, but it's nowhere is like that. But here at the Comedy Mothership, you have that like a recreation where it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's unfiltered, it's wild. You got Joe, you got Joey Diaz, you got all the guys, and it's raw, it's uncensored, and I think there's a demand for that.
Okay.
And that's why I love it there.
And then because I'm perfect segue into the Mothership, by the way. So now we're, you know, fast forward all the time. Mothership is here. Joe Rogan asked you to you know, shoot at the Mothership, and you were kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to. Everything I have here is, I mean, I can let you explain it, but what was your process on coming from LA to Austin?
Yeah, he asked me to come shoot at the Mothership, and I said, okay, I'll come out like, you know, for like 10 days a month or whatever. And I did that. And so I came out here, shot for 10 days a month. It was great. And I told Joe, I was like, you know, he's like, you should move here. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to move here, but I'll come out. And after about a year and a half, about a year and a half, I went, oh, I love it here in Austin. It's fantastic. I met a Texas girl I like. And I went, dude, this is the place. This is the place where really cool shit is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated the idea of giving up all the stuff that I built at the store and at the Hollywood Improv, because I loved all those guys and I liked all those people I worked with. I loved what I was capturing there. But there was a point where I went, you know what? I really love this place and I love the people here.
Bro.
And I also love how Texas runs things.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of crazy, terrible shit when I was in LA that wouldn't happen in Texas.
You brought up the cancellation of Joey Diaz. I'm not even familiar with that. What do you when you?
Yeah, that was one of the things that changed. I feel like, and it's no one talks about this moment, but I was too deep into it, so I'll talk about it. It changed comedy culture in LA at this time. It was a big deal. This was right in the pandemic when cancel culture was at its peak, when you could cancel someone for pretty much anything. If you could read, this is, you know, Shane Gillis had got canceled for SNL. So this is that time where the fanatics, the Twitter mob people were like, hey, we have all the power, we have all the cards, and we're going to run right through you if you say one thing that's outside of the box that we decided on. And they dug up a clip of Joey Diaz from an early JRE episode that was like from like 15 years before. Mm-hmm. And he was telling a story about how he's like, dog, I ran this show and I made this girl blow me and I shot it in her eye. And she was walking around half blind the whole night. Her eye was stuck together. And, you know, Joey is the greatest at telling a story, right? So he's telling the story. It was the funniest story.
Yeah.
But Joey is a natural born exaggerator, right? Joey is like Stanhope in this way.
That was a great Joey Diaz impression, by the way.
He will exaggerate something that makes him look bad.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, right?
Yeah.
It's not the truth, but it's an exaggeration of the truth.
Right, right.
Well, it turned out that here's the real story. Is this woman is a friend of Joey's who's still friends with him to this day. She's married with kids. They still stay in touch, whatever. And I don't know what the whole thing that happened was, but, you know, when Joey was single, they probably hooked up and he probably gave her stage time and whatever. I don't know that the whole details of it, but I know that the way that he told it never even happened. But they took the comedy story and they went. Someone put the clip out, edited the clip of just that part to say, "I told her if she wants stage time, she can suck my dick, and I shot it in her eye, and she was blood." And they just clipped that up, and it went viral. One night, I come home. I remember this so vividly. I was in Phoenix. I was I was hanging with my best friends from high school that night. We were at a party. I came home. I opened up my laptop before I went to bed, and I see Joey Diaz is trending on Twitter. And I went, what the hell? Joey's trending on Twitter? I click on it, and it's all these people. It's the clip, and it's all these people saying, cancel Joey Diaz, cancel Joey. 1 million people, cancel Joey Diaz. And I just wrote something simple. I wrote, that's so stupid. You can't cancel Joey Diaz, you cocksuckers. I wrote something like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, everybody went crazy. Now I'm suddenly the focus of all this because all my friends are the ones a lot of my friends were the ones trying to cancel him.
Wow.
So it was like a lot of people in the alt comedy movement, whatever. Now, none of those people ever went back and apologized if they found out about the real story.
Yeah.
And even if they found out, none of them ever apologized and said, oh, we didn't know it was just an exaggerated version of the story, that he was friends with the woman and that, they're still close friends and they talk all the time and she's happily married with kids and he supports her. So that kind of thing never gets apologized for. And that was a moment where everybody went, oh, LA is going fucking berserk right now. And so that was, I think, one of those pivotal moments.
Like 2020?
This was 20. Well, yeah, this was probably 2020, end of 2020.
End of 2020.
It was like a shot heard around the world where everyone went, in the comedy world, only in the comedy world, in that bubble, people went, this is crazy, and we're getting out. And that's when Joe and Tony come out to Austin. That's when Joey Diaz goes to New Jersey. Joey called me up and he goes, hey, dog, I just want to let you know you're a good guy. I'm moving to New Jersey.
Wow.
And I was like, no, dude, don't do it. And then I was going crazy. I was like, oh, man, this big chunk of the best part of unfiltered raw comedy is gone.
Yeah.
And, and I made it through the pandemic. I watched too much shit happen, crime stuff that I don't want to get into, but it was terrible.
Right.
And people, stabbing people with no consequence. And I went, you know what? It's time. And so I've been here in Austin a year and a half and I love it.
Damn.
And
you've only been here a year and a half?
Oh, no. So I moved living here as a resident for a year and a half, but I've been here for 3 years now.
Wow.
Since the mothership opened. And 9 months ago, Joe Rogan asked me he said, hey, man, I want you to make a book.
Yep.
For the first 3 years of the mothership. And I went, okay. He goes, I want you to make a photo book, kind of like a coffee table thing of all the cool shit that happens here at the mothership since I've been here from the beginning. And I've been working on that for 9 months, and it'll be out sometime in March.
That's gonna be so sick. And they're gonna be able to sell it. That's the whole idea.
They'll have it at the mothership. It'll be online. It'll be, it'll be all over the place, and it's really fun. I've put in so many hundreds of hours into it, and Dude, I'm really excited about it. It's a very innovative book. It's so creative.
You never shoot at bottom of the barrel, do you?
Yeah, I shoot bottom of the barrel all the time.
Damn, dog. You should try to sneak me in that book. Bottom of the barrel.
I probably have you in there. Yeah. I have. Well, I do have you in there.
It'd probably be stupid.
I shot you.
I'm whatever. But I'm completely joking when I say that. But that's sick as hell. That's gonna be. I can't wait to purchase.
It's gonna be great. And then
when is it out for sale?
It'll be out in March.
Oh, okay.
It'll be out in March.
Damn, that's gonna be so sick, bro.
It's gonna be great. So, I'm excited about that. It turned out I was so nervous about moving here, but it turned out sometimes it's like that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where it says you have to take a leap of faith, and there's this big like crevice, and he takes a step, and you go, oh, he's gonna die. He's taking a step into a giant valley, and he's gonna fall to his death, and he lands on something. It was an optical illusion. He lands on ground, and he puts sand on it, and it's like, oh my God. We didn't see it. You just have to take that leap of faith. And I feel like that's kind of how I got here.
Yeah.
Is I took a huge leap of faith and I went, I can't believe I'm giving up the Comedy Store and the improv and all the other stuff. But you know what? When I moved here, I ended up getting busier. I've shot so many Netflix specials for comics. I did the road with Gabriel Iglesias for a year. I did multiple years with Burt Kreischer on the road. And I just shot my third time shooting for Louis C.K.'s Netflix special, or his own special. And I get to shoot for these amazing guys, the best in the world, because they know that I'm the dude to call. Yeah. And I never let them down, you know?
So when you say shoot, these are just, you're not...
Still photography for these specials.
Yeah, you got to shoot for Louis?
Yeah. I've been shooting for Louis for years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
for his
great.
Specials, yeah.
And do you have like close relationships with these guys, or are you mostly just in the shadows?
I know Adam most Ray of the guys I do. Yeah. With most of the guys I do. Not with. I don't know Louis personally. Like I don't have Louis's number where I call him or whatever. Yeah. I just have a working relationship with him.
Yeah.
Guy's a fucking genius.
Yeah. When
he shows up on the set, he directs. If you look at the end of his specials, it says written and directed by Louis C.K. That's no joke. Yeah. Like that dude shows up at like 1:00 in the afternoon as a director, not as a comic. He's literally just like shows up, talking with all the camera guys. He's like, all right, when I come out, this camera sweeps here. I want this song. He was like, the first one I shot for him, he was on the phone, I think with Bob Dylan, because he was trying to secure the rights for this. You know the special that says Sorry?
Oh, yeah. And
he comes out to like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
And it only happened that day. He's like, I got to have that song. He probably had to give who knows how much money he had to pay, but he had to pay a lot to get that song. Yeah. And he walks out to it because that's his story. If you think about why it was so important to him, most people don't know this, but I'm behind the scenes watching this and hearing about what's going on. Like he was a little late than usual. He gets there so early, and it was because they were securing rights to this song that was so important to him, and he got it.
Why was the song so important to him?
Because if you look at the lyrics of like a Rolling Stone, it's like, think about it. It's once upon a time that song is like, you used to be the man and now you're picking through the garbage.
Oh,
and now you're not so hot, are you? Like that's literally what that song is.
You're right.
And now, and this is his first special coming back after this cancellation, never mentions it, but then has this thing on stage that says, sorry, they spent, 10 hours building those letters with all the lights.
Wow.
And it was
I never even thought about that I'm familiar with the song Rolling Stone, but I didn't even look
Once
that
upon
closely.
a time I can't even think of what the lyrics were.
No, you're right. It is a story about how this guy was at the top and fell from the bottom.
You were
now he
the
has
hottest
to live
guy
like a Rolling Stone.
You were it was something like you were the guy who was the hottest guy in town, didn't you? Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah. So, that was like a behind the scenes moment of that. But that guy comes in and he is a genius director.
Wow.
Every detail's covered. He goes back to his hotel. He shows up as a comic, comes out flawlessly, crushes every single moment.
Wow.
And every time, I get goosebumps every time I shoot him because I'm just like, this, like I would be nerve-wracked thinking about directing and performing. Like, dude, those are two different brains.
Right.
But he is a fucking deity when it comes to that stuff.
Are you able to like enjoy the material at all, or are you just locked in?
No, I don't. Most of the time for specials, I mean, yes, I get to enjoy it, but not always on the level. Like here's when I get to enjoy it, when I'm walking from shot to shot. But when I'm shooting, I don't hear anything. I only am seeing what's in the frame. I'm so tunnel vision focused. But I remember like every Louis special, I'm like dying laughing. Like, the one I just shot for him a couple months ago will come out this year in the next few months. And I just was just crying, laughing. I'll tell you one special, not a special, but I shot a show for Leanne Morgan at here in town at the ACL Moody, and I had trouble shooting it because I had my vision went. I was crying, laughing so hard that I lost vision, and I'm like trying to shoot, and I'm like, God, I hope this is in fucking focus. Like that's how hard Leanne Morgan made me laugh.
Really?
Dude.
That's the older lady.
Yeah.
Right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. That's sure. That's how people just got. Dude, she is I'm a person who likes that. Like
my mom put me onto her. She's great. I really liked her. Yeah,
dude. Everybody's mom loves her.
Yeah,
but she is not only this amazing human being. She is so funny.
Yeah.
Every time I've shot for her, and I've shot for her a lot over the last like 5 years or so, 6 years, I am laughing so hard. She's the hardest person to shoot for me because there's something about her humor that hits me a certain way that messes up my shooting sometimes.
Wow.
So I have to work twice as hard.
Yeah.
I have to bring twice as many cameras. I have to strategically place them, and I have to overshoot her shows because she is just pure comedy. Her DNA just spells funny.
Wow.
There's something about her, dude. And again, I reiterate, I like the unfiltered, uncensored, filthy Stanhope, bro comedy.
Me too, yeah.
She is a clean
she is, yeah.
comic and makes me laugh so hard. Leanne Morgan is a genius.
And she's something really comforting about her. She's like a chicken pot pie to me. She just is like, I don't know, I feel comfort when I watch her.
Oh, dude. Yeah, you just feel like, oh, that's like she is this like warm, she's like a warm hug of a person.
Yeah.
And she's so real and so fun and just not like, to me, the antithesis of anything like Hollywoody. She has her own show on Netflix that's just got renewed. She has all these great Netflix specials. She's doing big movies. I mean, she is incredible, you know?
Damn, that's so sick, bro.
Yeah.
Let me fix that camera real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's pretty great.
Dude, I'm so happy we got that Adam Ray dropping.
Yeah, that's great.
I didn't even get to process it. I was like, which I got to open up for Adam a long time. That's why I think.
Oh, nice.
I hadn't seen him in years, but
he's the best.
He is. Dog. So, okay, there was two things. How many times do you you're taking still photos? How many freaking still photos do you need to take in a 1 hour set? Yeah.
Well, it depends. If I'm at a club, I'm not overshooting. I have a club down, right?
Yeah.
At the mothership, we're doing usually between 15 to 20 behind the scenes images get turned in.
Yeah.
I'm shooting much more than that. But, and then there's the on stage. Nowadays, we just send one or two in of each comic on stage. And so I don't know, a few hundred maybe at a club. But then when I'm shooting a special, that's a different story. There might be 2 shows, and I might shoot a total of between the 4 cameras I'm using, around 2,000 images, 1,500, 2,000
4
images.
cameras all up on your side?
No. I'm not carrying all 4 at all times.
Okay.
I have them placed,
Okay.
I have them like backstage in one area, run back, grab this one. I have the lenses all set up. That way I'm not changing lenses as often.
What's your go-to camera?
Well, I'm a Sony guy, so
Okay.
I shoot on the A7 IV right now.
Okay.
But I also shoot on the A7 IV. I have for studio, because I do that. I do comics promo shots and billboards and all that stuff for Netflix. So I use an A7R4 for that.
Yeah.
And then I have my old A7 III, which is what I had at the store. And believe it or not, that's still a good camera. I don't use it as much, but it's still a good camera. And then for behind the scenes, I use an A6700 and a couple of A6500s. So I have a lot of different tools, and the whole objective, you only need one camera, right? You could shoot with one camera and one lens for on stage easily. And the way to go would just be to get a full frame camera and an 85 millimeter lens.
Okay.
That's a 1.8 or better aperture. That's
Right.
how you want to know how to shoot comedy.
Yeah.
Get that.
Okay.
Then you're set.
I don't know exactly
I
what
know,
that
but
means.
I'm just
but-
saying it
right.
technical for anyone who watches like comedy
I feel like
photographers and
there's
stuff.
comedy photographers will definitely watch this.
Yeah, that's the way. That's your golden ticket for shooting kind of everything you need to. That doesn't work as good for behind the scenes. You gotta
Right.
have a little more versatile, like a little bit wider lens.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. So that's and that's what I use for most of the stuff at the mothership.
Yeah.
I'm using usually a 85 millimeter lens and a 50 millimeter lens, and I kind of alternate. And then for Kill Tony, I'm using more of a zoom lens because there's crazy shit happening on that show.
Do you shoot so you shoot the stills at Kill Tony?
Yeah, I shoot
Okay.
behind the scenes for Kill Tony.
Okay, all right.
I don't shoot as much on stage. Joe White shoots the on stage stuff for Instagram.
Uh-huh.
I shoot on stage stuff, and then I shoot the arena shows and all that stuff. And go on tour with them. I've been ever since Kill Tony went on the road. I've been going out and shooting for them, and it's such an unreal thing to see that show that I used to go shoot in the belly room, and it wasn't even full. It was like 20 people. 20 comics sitting in the back waiting to get on.
Wow.
And
Just 20 comics?
Yeah, just like 15, 20 comics in the belly room,
And
if that.
Everybody got on pretty essentially?
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not necessarily. But, most of them did.
Yeah.
And then here we are.
Bro,
and
because this
it's
is
the
where I
biggest
wanted
comedy
to end
show in the world.
Because, I mean, you just got done doing Madison Square Garden,
Yeah, well, we just got not just Madison Square Garden. We just did even bigger. We just did the Moody Center New Year's Eve.
Oh, I'm sorry, Moody, right.
New Year's Eve we did Moody.
That's
We've
right.
done
I meant to
Madison
say
Square
Moody.
Garden twice now.
Yeah.
And we just did the Moody, which is even bigger.
It's bigger than Madison Square Garden?
Yes, I believe it is bigger.
Okay, I guess Madison Square Garden's more legendary, but
Oh yeah.
I didn't.
Legendary. Yeah,
I
but
guess,
yeah, no, and then he's doing. I think in LA in May we're doing an even bigger one.
Yeah.
At the Inuit Center, Inuit Dome, which is
Inuit?
I think even bigger.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean that show and they all sell out, and it is such an experience. Everyone loves going.
Yeah, that is so sick, bro.
It really is incredible.
Well, dude, I guess two more things before we get out of here and wrap it up. One, if you were to give any advice to because there's I know a bunch of comedy photographers now in the game.
Yeah.
What would be like your best piece of advice to them?
I would say a few things. I would say find your voice just like you would as a comic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go up and do someone else's act.
Yeah.
So you find a way to have your own voice and your own style, and also learn camera settings. Like know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like learn what aperture is. Learn what a shutter speed is.
Right.
Learn what ISO is, and know what all those things do.
Yeah.
And because if you don't do that, you are letting the camera do all the work and you don't know shit. You're letting the camera do it, but you don't know why. There's a great quote from someone, I forget who said this, but it was the person who knows how will always have a job.
Mm-hmm.
The person who knows why will always be their boss. So when you learn these camera settings,
That's beautiful.
now you know why.
Yeah.
And so the why is important. You have to know why you're shooting. My objective,
Yeah.
capture these moments behind the scenes, capture a cool moment on stage. I like people smiling. I like people doing something interesting on stage. And that's the best advice I can give. And shoot a lot and make mistakes,
Sick.
but
Sick.
make your own mistakes.
Yeah. Well, that's a great piece of advice. And what does the future hold for Troy Conrad? You think you're gonna stay in Austin for a while?
I'll be in Austin, dude. Yeah, I'm an Austin guy. I'm a Texas.
Fuck yeah.
I got a belt buckle. I'm here, man.
Well, let's get you back up on stage, brother.
I'll be doing shows. I'm gonna do secret. I do secret show once in a while.
Good.
So I get up on stage, but it's it's like every couple months when I have time. It's not my priority, but it's in my blood.
Hell yeah.
And can't go through life without occasionally doing it. You know?
Sick. I love that. Well, what a great episode, and I love that Adam Ray was featured on this episode.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Little cameo.
Yeah. Well, sick, dude. Thank you again for doing the podcast.
Right on. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, brother.